COVID hit, and obviously there's no churches, none of that, and I lost my job. So at this point, everything's hitting at one time, and the one thing, you know, that I guess, well, not I guess, but we know never changes is God.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that's constant is God. And I thought, you know, this is all happening. You know, I got to fix this. You know, God can't fix this. I can. And I don't know how I got there, but I did.
What, just over a few month period? It
was just over a few month period. I mean, it kind of started a bit earlier than that, like when all the stresses and stuff came up. But I think it hit big time, I guess, when, I mean, now I look back and I tell people, I think I went through depression. I just didn't know what it was. And it's one thing that in our family, like the Lebanese family, you don't hear about it. You don't know what it is. You don't grow up with it. The schools and unis we go to never really spoke about it.
Depression's an interesting one, bro, because depression isn't moping around all day.
No, it's not.
Depression's going to work with a smile on your face, hanging out with your mates, laughing, and then going home and wanting to do absolutely nothing. And it builds from there.
That's what it was. It got to a point where I had so many loving and caring people around me that did everything for me, and I couldn't be bothered. And sometimes I'd force myself to go and I'd enjoy it, and then it's like a switch. Yeah, it's like a switch. It's like as soon as you go back or you leave that place, you're back into that mode. Yeah. It's like you have to make an effort to get out of it.
I get exactly what you're saying. It's a hard thing to try and explain, but if you've been through it, you know
exactly what it is. Yeah. With everyone, it's different as well. Yeah. It's never the same. Not everyone goes through the exact same form of
Absolutely not.
And I went into a very deep and dark spiral of addictions with gamblings and lust and all that. And it was things that, you know, I've done that I'm not proud of. And I know that, you know, I can look back and regret and say, I wish I didn't do those things. And obviously that's true. I wish I didn't. But, you know, at the same time, God put me through a trial. I know I failed. I know I didn't do things the right way. I know I didn't do what God had for me. But I know now that I'm in a better place and I'm walking forward, that I can use my mistakes to encourage others not to fall into that.
So what, God had to break you down to that level to bring you back home?
Yeah, he honestly did. I was blessed with so much over the last 4 or 5 years, like immensely blessed. And when you decide to take your eyes off the one who blessed you and run with his blessings and think that they're all yours now and he's no longer got control of them, it's when you know you're about to fall.
And mate, he does it. And he gives his mercy, man. He gives his grace. He gives you enough time, but sometimes he does need to slap you. And he did.
Yeah.
How'd it feel?
It was a sweet chin music, that's what it was.
It was what?
A sweet chin music.
How'd it feel?
It was hell, honestly. It was, I honestly wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I was at a point where life wasn't worth living. It was like I had fallen so far that the consequences of my actions felt heavier than the life that God had for me. It was like, it's too much now. Like there's no coming back from this. There's no recovery. I think the hardest thing of all that, obviously you hurt yourself, but watching your loved ones break down because of your actions. I'm trying not to cry here.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
And, you know, often you hear people, Christians, when they say, oh, you know, my testimonies, it's not the best testimony because I grew up in a Christian household. You know, I don't have that glamorous testimony, as some people call it. But, you know, even the people who were in the world and came to Christ all wish they had that Christian testimony, the one that started from beginning to end. And as someone who could have had that, but, you know, tested the water, so to speak, it's not worth it. It's really not. Like the temporal pleasures are not worth the eternal glory.